Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Paranormal Awakening. Now we are live for once. Man, YouTube is really confusing with their live feed. But we are here joined by Carson French from Scientific Researchers of the Unknown. We are talking to each other on Discord, and I'm trying to open up on the chat on my computer, but for some reason my computer doesn't want to do that. So I'm going to have to read chat off of my phone. So I deeply do apologize. But let me go ahead and share the display screen so everyone can see us. But anyways, all right, let's go ahead and switch on over to Paranormal Awakening, and then okay, there we go. All right, sound is good. It's amazing. All right, guys. So for those of you that are joining us, we are joined by Carson French. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carson French. I am a paranormal researcher from Sacramento, California. Actually, I'm now living in Yosemite, California. But yeah, go to I'm from the website sro2.org if you're wanting to know more about me.
And the link will be down below in the description as well for those of you that are unaware. But anyhow, further ado, if you guys are of interest and would like to check out his channel, the links to all that will be linked down below. So I do thank you, Carson, for jumping on. I know we had some difficulties in the past with connection, but at least it seems like you're in a good area now where you have a sustainable connection. But anyhow, so everyone, we are open to Q&As. If you have any questions, please leave it in caps lock. I do appreciate that, so that way we are able to see everything that's going on. But with further ado, we're going to be discussing the disclosure that's happening tomorrow, which is June 1st. And it's very exciting because uh, we've been waiting for this for a long time for those of us that are in the UFO community. And, we want to know the truth. And I think it's very exciting that this sort of thing is happening in our lifetime. And it's not, when we're passed away and we're gone. And I just think that's really cool that it's happening in our lifetime. So I guess my first question to Carson, do you have any predictions of your own of what might happen tomorrow? Like what's going on inside your head?
So all I know is that whatever happens this next month is going to be huge. So basically, one quote that I learned from a wise ancient Chinese man is um, expect nothing but prepare for everything. So, with this upcoming month, we know that UFO disclosure is happening, but we can't have too high expectations, but we can't have too low expectations either. We need to prepare for everything. So, my personal predictions, though, are that I don't think disclosure is going to happen tomorrow. A lot of people are saying June 1st is going to be the disclosure, but recent interviews with experts within the disclosure movement, they have been saying that it's going to be sometime within the month of June. So that makes me think it's going to be the very end, and it might even get delayed further into July. But we'll see. There's no set date on when it has to be released. Also, what is it that they're going to release? Is it going to be just everything that we know already, that UFOs are real and that's it? Or do they know what they are and they're going to tell us? Or are they going to be dishonest with us and tell us lies? So
One,
Um,
in my honest opinion, I think it's there's a whole lot that's going to be going on. Honestly, that's just my theory, though. And one of my theories is that this was one thing I was. Well, this is not really my theory. I'm just going to explain a backup idea first, and then explain what I think is going to happen. But so there's this guy named Phil, and he apparently worked at Area 51 and other places, and he has, proof to show it, like contracts and everything else. And I think it's really strange that, he had, unlike Bob Lazar, he actually had proof to back up that he was there. Later on, he died, but uh, when he
what
was,
was this proof?
well, his proof was he had signed contracts with the government for his work at Area 51. But compared to Bob Lazar, they took down all of Bob Lazar's stuff, and all the colleges and universities were denying him and all that. So this guy named Phil, he fought with other scientists or whatever, and said that apparently there's 60 something scientists that were fighting aliens, which this is a really crazy story that's still ongoing. You can find his stuff on Amazon. He has like a whole documentary on it that I was gonna order today, but anyhow, further further going, I just think that if these stories are true, then extraterrestrials could be living amongst us. They might already be living amongst us, and we don't even know that. But they could also be like, if you've seen Star Wars, they could be a lot like those characters where they're from another planet. They look different, they act different, they talk different. And it might be weird at first when they're living amongst us, but at least in my mind, I hope that they're friendly. And I see we got Philip White in the comments. Hope your day is going well. Welcome to the stream. Feel free to ask questions. Make sure they're in caps lock. Please, thank you. But further go, Carson, do you have anything to respond to what I was saying?
I don't really know anything about what you're talking about, but um, I don't know. I don't really have a comment on that.
Yeah, it's a very strange story though that there's so many of these stories like, oh, there's a story of this one person who claimed that they worked on a UFO and flew it into the ground and got sent out of Area 51. But little do we know much about these people because there's not that much proof that they actually worked in these places. But aside from that, uh, to go back on track, I'm honestly really curious to think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, am I gonna wake up to seeing a bunch of X-wing fighter jets and spacecrafts?
Well, June 1st is not, I mean, it is tomorrow, but in Washington, D.C., June 1st is in 45 minutes. So, if something is going to be released on June 1st, it is going to happen on the stream in 45 minutes, and we will examine this evidence.
And best of all, we're doing this live right here on Paranormal Awakening with the president of Scientific Researchers of the Unknown. By the way, guys, for those of you that are watching this live, make sure to jot down on your notes Scientific Researchers of the Unknown and check out their YouTube channel later after the stream. After the stream, I'll re-go through the link and edit the link so that way you guys can check out his channel as well. But yeah.
All
So
right, Scott. So coming up now, we're gonna have our first guest of the night. He's a surprise guest. Um, he's a very academically highly esteemed individual. His name is Professor Aditya Mishra, and he's going to be joining us on the stream soon. And he's a professor of ufology at University of California, Los Angeles,
And,
UCLA.
and UCLA just recently opened up their program, which I think is really exciting that they have a program now for extraterrestrials because, in Russia and other places they have, accredited or not non-accredited studies for this, but here in the United States, people would think that's a joke because, it's so classified here. And I think that's really awesome that we do have that availability. But but yeah. So I think it's really awesome that this is actually going to be a class available. I'm thinking personally about hoping that I can get to take it myself because it would be so awesome. But how long until he joins?
Well, he was just asking me for permission to join. I gave him permission, so I'm assuming he's going to be joining any second now.
Does he have the podcast role? He should be able to if he does.
He does. He says he wasn't able to join, but I gave him permission to join, so he
Just
should join.
give him admin if you can, or moderator. Then he should be able to.
Okay, cool. And I hope everybody's having a great night. Tonight is a big night in the history of ufology. We've been waiting years and years and decades for this to happen. Some may have even been waiting for centuries.
I totally agree. Welcome in, Professor Aditya. If you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit to the show, Paranormal Awakening, we are live to 5 viewers, and they would like to hear what you would like to have to say. And if you would go ahead and introduce yourself.
Let me check.
Hello?
Oh, he just went deafened.
Alright, wait, is this much better now?
Yeah, I turned up your audio. Whoops, I lost Carson there. There we go. Wait, I lost myself. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I'm Aditya Mishra. I'm a scientific researcher in the unknown from UCLA, and I'll be joining on the podcast today on Scott's channel for Paranormal Awakening. It's going to be pretty great.
Yeah, and so I have a question from Philip White, and it says, Scott, latest sightings. Latest sightings, honestly, I mean, as far as I go, I haven't seen anything recently, but there has been some pretty crazy sightings recently posted on the news, to my knowledge, and it's crazy, man. Like, there's one with the Navy in the UFOs flying around, but it said that it was there in 2009, but why are they releasing it now? Which is strange that it was there in 2009. I'm surprised it hasn't been leaked, considering they've been holding that footage for that long.
Well, the heart of the recent UFO disclosure movement has been coming from Congress. We have people like Marco Rubio and Senator, I'm blanking on his name, but we have multiple people in Congress who have wanted UFO disclosure for years, and now is the chance. Now is their chance, and they're all joining together to try to get this to happen. And that's why it ended up in this COVID relief bill, because they were the ones who made the bill. But why are they doing it now? Why is it just Congress who wants it? Is there something that they don't know? Because I'm pretty sure Congress, if the U.S. government does know things about UFOs, I don't think normal Congress members would have access to that information. So maybe just because the Congress doesn't know what's going on doesn't mean that like the government as a whole doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, dude, I totally agree with you. And maybe they still are figuring it out. Maybe they just don't have the right answers. And maybe tomorrow we might get a response like, hey guys, they're from outer space, but we're still trying to figure this out. Or maybe they might say, oh, they're ours, just so that way the public doesn't freak out. Because, we really don't have that kind of technology that they have, other than reverse engineering their technology. Other than that, I think it's I think it's very interesting that this kind of stuff is breaking out right now.
Yeah. I think something that's actually really interesting is there's a theory that all these UFOs that have been coming in are like surveillance cameras that are surveilling the Earth. And this also ties into like the dark forest theory. For those of you who are listening who might not know about this, is essentially the theory that once a civilization becomes advanced enough, some outer force, some alien force from maybe like light years away comes in and wipes us out because they don't want to see us as a threat. So it's kind of like if you have mold in your bathtub, right? Like at first, a little bit of mold's okay, but then once you get a lot of it, you want to make sure it doesn't take over your bathroom, so you kill it. So there's theories that these UFOs that have been sighted, especially with increasing frequency in the last 50 years, are doing this to ensure that we don't become too powerful and become a threat in the greater galaxy.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is going on right now. They're realizing that something's happening and they're trying to figure out whether or not we should, if Earth is like a legitimate threat in the grand scheme of things.
So this question is directed towards the professor. He is asking about plasma beings, Gina Marie Colvin Hill's work. Please comment.
Yeah, I'm not a complete expert in that section, so I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, neither am I or any of us. We are mainly more UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, kind of in that era. But maybe.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I could probably answer it.
He says, Professor, plasma beings, Gina Marie Colvin Hill's work.
I don't understand that question.
We will investigate that further at a further point in time. But
Yeah.
but anyways, so uh once again, chat, for those of you that are, watching, if you're watching, feel free to jump into the chat and ask us some questions. Make sure it's in caps lock. I greatly appreciate how interactive you guys are so far. It does mean a lot to us because we are able to, think about these questions that you might have for us and maybe some questions that we've never thought of.
Right. Also, I just want to mention, while we're on the topic of the paranormal, I am currently located at a cemetery right now doing this show. So if you see any apparitions in the background, please let me know.
Or hear anything, because sometimes I don't hear anything, and my viewers honestly hear a lot.
Tombstone.
Dude, that is so cool. Looks like... Yeah, dude, that is so crazy.
We'll be investigating it after this show.
Yeah. Alright, so... One thing I had as a question of my own, although this disclosure is more towards UFOs and aliens and, all that, do you guys think that they might disclose Bigfoot or Sasquatch along with this? Or do you think that they're going to direct this towards UFOs and aliens?
I think that if Bigfoot are aliens, then yes, that will be included. But if not, I don't think so, because why would they give away that secret if they don't have to?
True, because they might, like, maybe they are leaving that for a question for us to ponder. Like, maybe they want us to think about it and, like, really investigate it. And, because I just think that it's interesting that there's a lot of fakery on, on social media and stuff. But, other than that, I just think that it's very interesting. They're going to have to, I would think. Yeah, I would totally agree with you, Philip. I do think that they would have to release it as well. It's they honestly, I'm just excited at least for tomorrow because it's in 45 minutes in the East Coast, and isn't it tomorrow already happening in like Europe?
That's right. Yeah.
This is for U.S.
Yeah.
Government.
So too bad it's not happening worldwide. Otherwise, that would be crazy. They're going to have to wait, I would think. Yeah, interdimensional beings will have to be explained. Oh yeah, that's a big thing. I think. Yeah, I think they would have to explain a lot to those
So
people that
that's actually something I wanted to talk about: interdimensional beings, because
international.
international beings, no, these
uh,
are interdimensional beings. This is a whole nother level of being. So basically, there's a good chance that these UFOs are not from outer space, but they're actually from other dimensions. And I'm saying this because, based on all the research I've been doing, this is what it has been pointing to. The the Pentagon themselves, this was actually just um, talked about today on CBS News, um, that the Pentagon had a team of people who were investigating um, the possibility that the UFOs are interdimensional.
Tanner Cano says, "Where is Carson sitting at?" Welcome, Tanner, to the chat.
In the unknown right now. But sorry. Uh,
In the unknown.
Also, there have been FBI reports from years ago already that have talked about UFOs being interdimensional, and these are on FBI.gov already. These documents have already been released, and they have talked about these UFOs being from the astral plane, and they literally say from the astral plane, and that they are not from outer space, but from a different dimension.
Well, yeah, I think astral projection is really interesting because, like, I've done astral projection. You've done astral projection before, I think, right? Don't you have astral projection experience?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's very interesting that uh, we can. So there's a movie called Avatar by James Cameron, and it's really interesting because those people go into this little bed, and they have like a little container with the blue people. You kind of know where I'm getting at, and
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
yeah, I think it's kind of interesting how they jump into this little bed, close their eyes, and then they're into another body. Which maybe we might have some technology like that. Maybe we do, because sometimes movies base things off of real life. But I'm not saying that that is true or isn't. It's just a possibility. But I think that's something
I
that
really like that example because there are a lot of movies in popular culture that are secretly about astral projection that you wouldn't understand unless you have actually astral projected before. For example, one of my favorite movies, The Polar Express. That movie is about a boy who astral projects.
yeah. I actually what's funny is I never really realized that he like actually was asleep the whole time. But
The whole movie, it talks about, is this a dream? Is this a dream? And they talk about the power of belief.
yeah.
And he couldn't hear the bells ring until he really focused his willpower and his belief, and then he could finally hear it ring. And that's something that, if you have ever astral projected before, that sometimes the reality within that world is very unstable, but if you focus your belief and focus your energy,
Yeah.
then it becomes reality.
Yeah, kind of going off of what you're saying, I've had some dreams recently. I don't even know if they're dreams. Like, my dreams
Wait,
have
sorry to interrupt, but we are 30 minutes from June 1st in Washington, D.C.
awesome. And going off of what you were saying earlier about dreams and astral projection, I've been having some really crazy dreams lately where like it's so realistic, and you can actually control Sometimes even out of body experience, like, is what happens in my dream. Like, I can actually walk around in my own house. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like, I'm literally asleep and I'm doing this out of body experience. It's like one of the craziest things ever. And people say, like, oh, it doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist because you don't try. But when you try and actually figure out how to do these experiences, it's the coolest thing ever. What is the difference between astral project? Tanner asks, what is the difference between astral projection and dreams and just imagining? Well, I'm gonna put it into my perspective. Imagining is you're kind of just thinking about it. Enter, and then dreams are like you're just watching a movie, kind of, sort of, in your own head. And then astral projecting is where you're kind of like out of body, and you're able to control most of it. But Carson, if you would like to go off of what Tanner was asking in the chat, which was what is the difference between astral projecting and dreams and just imagining, if you guys would like to touch bases and answer your own thoughts onto that.
The dreams are basically just images that happen in your head at night. We've all had them. Astral projection is very similar. It's your brain is in the same sort of state, but the part of your brain that is active when you are awake is also active, as well as the part of your brain that is active during dreams. So it's almost like full use of your entire brain, and you are completely conscious of everything you're doing, and you have full control of what's going on around you, and you can basically go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and it's just a crazy experience. And it's very, very, very realistic. In fact, sometimes it is more realistic than real life, which is hard to imagine unless you've experienced it yourself.
Yeah, and so I think that's pretty good information. And then, Aditya, did you want to say something as well?
Yeah, actually, so unfortunately, unlike Scott and unlike Carson, I can't actually control whether or not I have lucid dreams. So I have had lucid dreams in the past in which I can absolutely control the environment. It's a very different feel and like from a normal dream, because typically in a dream, regardless of how realistic it is, you know that you're dreaming. But when you're having a lucid dream, it doesn't feel like you're dreaming. It feels like real life. There's like a part of your brain that you can feel like working, if that makes sense. It's a really unique experience, and there's lots of guys. I've talked about this before. Maybe we'll circle back to it later. But I actually had like really interesting experiences by creating a dream journal and stuff like that. Scott, I'm not sure if I told you about this before, or if this is pertinent to what we want to talk about for the podcast. But yeah, it's a really fascinating world out there for astral projection, for lucid dreaming. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, we should definitely do another. Maybe we'll do another podcast more directed towards lucid dreaming and astral projection, and maybe even get a few experts on the show as well.
That'd be a great idea. Yeah.
So let me check and see if we have any other questions. So how much time do we have left? We have 35 minutes. No,
25 minutes left
25?
until June 1st. But I do not think that anything is going to be released right at June 1st. Or
so many iguanas.
What's it?
Better than the marijuana.
Who's it?
What was that?
Who the heck was that?
someone from the Pentagon trying to take down our stream.
I mean, okay, we need to we need to jump into a private room so we don't have this happening.
You're in a private room. How did he get access?
This isn't a private room. It's open.
You open it.
All right, that's more like it.
There we go. Back to practice.
Back in action.
That's really funny.
All right. Can everyone hear me? You guys there?
Yeah, I can hear you, Scott.
All right. That was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
At least they were somewhat of like a polite troll because we
Uh,
could have came in
uh,
with much worse stuff than that. That would have gotten our stream taken down.
oh,
Oh, they
that,
tried doing it again.
oh, that no, that's my moderator. He's fine. He's fine if he jumps in.
Yeah.
Tanner, if you're watching on the stream, you can jump in if you want to. But anyhow, so I love how my DMs are getting flooded right now, but it's like we're kind of having a wonderful live right now.
So I want to know what you guys think. Is I want to know what you guys think the UFOs are. Do you think it is aliens? Do you think it is a different country? Or do you think it is the United States and they're just lying about the level of technology we have?
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
for this,
they could be hiding technology, but also at the same time, it could be a mix of both. That's what I think it is.
Steve,
What do you mean? A
Like,
mix of both of what?
it could be a mix of extraterrestrial and ours because we had the Roswell crash, which was proof of, outer edge of Earth technology that we don't really have here. And yeah, so I think it's a little bit of both at the same time. So Carson might need something to light his face soon. California is getting dark. Yeah, the sun just set. And the sun went into the unknown a few minutes ago. But he's getting lit up now. There we go. There he is. Yep. All right. So
to add on to the previous question, because that's a really fascinating question. I talked about it earlier. Is like, if it is aliens, it's possibly just like a surveillance drone trying to figure out like the
What
status
do
of
you, what do you think it is though? Do you think it's aliens?
It's difficult to know. Like some experts, like they're saying that it's absolutely not alien. There's also articles coming out that of people who believe that it very closely could be alien technology. No, so there's a lot of varying opinions going on. I would think it'd be awesome if it's aliens and truly there's no government on the planet that actually knows what's going on. But in general, there's no way for us to know until the documents are declassified. So that's why we're super excited for 21 minutes until midnight hits on the East Coast. So yeah, back to you, Scott.
yeah. So actually, let me ask you, Aditya. Since you are the professor at UCLA, have you been given any inside information or information that you are able to talk about, or
Uh, yeah, so I'll be giving a seminar next year, and I haven't gotten any insider information about the information that's going to be released tomorrow or any other information on this work. I know there's a lot of UFO research that actually goes on at UCLA and Pomona, but I haven't gotten any inside info, unfortunately. But I have gotten insights from my professor, who happens to be really interested in the problem of determining if UFOs are real or if they're just figments created by governments to keep people in check. So I'll let you know if I get more information about that later.
there are definitely a lot of possibilities though about this. I think there's way too much, and there's only so little time for them to get it out by this date, which they haven't done a good job of at all because they've only released two functional videos, which is not the best. Do you guys think that the UFO could be the secret people that live in Antarctica? Well, I don't really think that there's secret people in Antarctica other than scientists, but we would have to take that into a closer investigation.
Well, I don't know if there's secret people in Antarctica, but there's definitely secrets because why would they not let anybody go to Antarctica? It's illegal for anybody to go there. Why is that?
I agree.
What are they hitting?
Maybe our answer will be answered or our question will be answered in 20 minutes,
Does
right?
Could be,
anybody actually know the reason why it's illegal to go to Antarctica?
Yeah, if there is anyone in the chat, if you'd like to answer that question, make sure it's in caps lock, if you could as well. I greatly do appreciate all the 10 viewers that are in our live right now. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Make sure to subscribe as well to be notified, and check out Scientific Researchers of the Unknown because he is right here with us live, which is pretty awesome.
yeah, and if you guys want to support us in any other way, Carson actually has merch that you can reach out to him and try to figure something out.
The merch,
It's super cool.
Anymore.
the merch is
Oh
also.
yeah, it was sold out. It's a shame. You guys missed out. You gotta get it. You gotta get it faster next time.
Yep. Well, hey, it's a one-time deal. But well, okay. So here's what chat is saying: Antarctica surrounds U.S. UNN flag has no landmass for it. While the fact we're talking about it means it's not too secret that there's more going on there. Well, yeah, if they're hiding something, I kind of want to go off of what he's saying in the chat is that if there is something that's being hidden, then they're definitely hiding something that I think should be taken into investigation of.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there's like lots of really interesting theories about uh, like how do I say this in a way that's not like pre-existing
Post
structures
a
in
link
our
to Carson.
society.
Carson, can you post a link? Excuse me. Uh,
You can keep talking.
yeah, can you post a link or just comment your YouTube channel and your business number?
Yeah, you can keep talking.
Yeah. So oh geez. So there's lots of really interesting theories of like structures that exist in our societies and societies around the world that make it easier for like time travelers or people from different worlds or even different dimensions to like slip in. I would say like on vacation or even on an investigation, like to a whole other world. Like one really interesting theory is that lottery numbers, like lotteries in general, are just like not exactly trapped, but they're like reload points for time travelers because they already know what the winning numbers will be, right? So if they ever need to like travel and they ever need the money, like they can just use access to a lottery ticket or and just refuel, so to say, in the past, so that they will never be bothered and they can have safe passage back to the future. There's lots of really interesting theories about just how Earth, which is not as technologically advanced as other places in the galaxy, or we should assume, is able to just thrive along with these other planets, considering that we are not as advanced.
We have a really great comment here from Diesel in New Jersey. He says their secrets is the power over U.S. using their tools to take them down will never happen. Illusion of choice is their biggest seller.
What's that mean?
I have no idea what that means, but that will require some more investigation. I think,
We'll
personally.
definitely research that. Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely take what you guys are saying in the comments to investigation.
So,
Oh yes,
um,
religion too does come into play. I was gonna say something earlier about religion, but honestly, I forgot about what I was gonna say because we have.
there's. Oh, sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, no, you can go. Yeah, I was gonna stop right there anyways. So, feel free to go ahead.
So we've been talking about the possibility of there being um, aliens from outer space or from other dimensions, but is it possible that the UFOs that are being flown are from a civilization here that may be human or non-human? For example, many of the UFOs that have been seen throughout history, and in fact the recently disclosed USS Omaha swarming of UFOs that was on the radar the radar footage, one of the UFOs dipped into the water, underwater in the ocean, and they sent a submarine after it, and they couldn't find any wreckage or anything. So these are also known as USOs, unidentified submersible objects. So whatever these things flying around in the sky are, they're also underwater. So is it possible that these are from a underwater civilization from Earth? Because over 90% of the ocean hasn't been explored yet. And also, there's the possibility that these beings could be from the lost city of Atlantis.
Dude, I remember your Atlantis podcast. Oh, also Diesel in New Jersey. Speaking of Atlantis, hold that thought there of Atlantis. Diesel in New Jersey is mentioning USOs and TR-3Bs, and he says, uh, so he's asking about TR-3Bs. Diesel in New Jersey, are you asking about what our thoughts are on USOs and TR-3Bs, or how they connect with Atlantis?
I think, I mean, this is your show. You can do whatever you want, but I think we should, like, ignore the comments unless we have nothing to talk about, so we're not, like, changing subjects.
Yeah. All right.
But it's up to you.
But yeah. So, anyways, so going back to Atlantis.
My personal opinion is like if there was another civilization on this planet that was advanced enough, like we would know about it. I feel like it'd be so, especially since like we're not hiding from them either. So if we were hiding from them and they were also hiding from us, then I think it's possible that both of us like would be like unaware of each other's presence. But since we are not actively hiding from them, I find it really difficult to believe that there'd be another civilization that's advanced enough that lives underwater but is able to create rockets that can rival ours. So my own personal belief is if it is not from outside this earth, it is just from another country, and they just want to keep all their military technology classified.
But let's say there was a civilization living on the ocean floor. They could have, like, huge cities down there and stuff. They're not necessarily hiding from us, but we would never see them.
No,
Well,
what's that?
well, we might never see them, but we might see their technology. Meaning, like, so you remember Star Wars, right? In how
Yes, I remember.
yeah, there's one episode when I think it was Obi-Wan and Anakin follow Jar Jar Binks into the ocean, and they have the little custom regulators that help them breathe underwater. Maybe they're just regular people like you and I, and maybe they have that special technology. Maybe it's just regular people like us.
Honestly, I've never even thought about that, but that is actually a really interesting insight. That's worth pursuing, but we had to do further research before we make any hard claims.
To ask whoever's in charge of submarines with the Navy to explore more of the ocean.
I think that's a great idea. I think like less is known about, like just as much is known about our ocean as is known about our Milky Way. Like think about how little we know about space, right? Like we know just as little as something that exists on our planet. We're seeing new forms of life in the ocean every single day. Like that giant squid that like grew in the oil rig a few years ago. We didn't know it existed, even though it's one of the largest animals on the planet, and we didn't even know it existed until like 5 years ago. So I think that's definitely something that's worth pursuing, and totally could be feasible that there's another like species that's as neurologically advanced as humans
Well, also
on this planet.
there's 95% of the ocean that's not been discovered, and on top of that, there's a certain percentage of space that's also not been discovered. So that being said, there could be so much technology, so much,
Though,
huh?
isn't space infinite? So wouldn't 0% of it be discovered?
Well,
Well, I guess we don't know it's infinite.
well, we don't know what percent of space there is because it's not like you're at Magic Mountain at Disneyland and there's a wall on the other side, of the ride. Like there's not like a end point and a start point like Magic Mountain,
Oh,
because that takes place in space. Well, space or Space Mountain or Magic Mountain, whatever it's called. Uh, anyways, it's not like how
it
here.
even exists.
Yeah, it's weird.
All be a lie. Also, the ocean could be a lie too. I mean, maybe it only goes like 20 feet deep, and it's just an illusion. I don't know.
Maybe it is.
I think we should look at some questions in the chat. So, 1948, Romanian government suppress ocean beast carcass evidence. Deposit left side ocean, Swedish coast, unknown animal wash. Dissident punished for
People
speak
are saying
this.
Tanner is making a good point. The government is getting people that are seeing the truth and throwing them a bone to lead them on. That could be a possibility. That very well could be. But
Wait, what's
Or
this Romanian
steer us
incident? I've
in the
never heard
wrong
of it.
direction. Oh, sorry.
What is this Romanian incident? I've actually never heard of it before. If you have more insights.
Just thought of something. So,
Brett, that's
first of all, 7 minutes
completely
till
old news, dude. That is old news.
7 minutes till June 1st. But submarine. If there is an underwater civilization, then basically a submarine to them would be the same thing as a UFO to us. Think about
Yeah.
that.
So, all right. So where were we at?
The military-industrial complex would never allow for too much information to be revealed. That's right. They're not going to give us the current info. But what they might do is UFOs have been around for centuries, really. So there's a good chance that all this information on UFOs is old news. So there's not really any point in keeping it secret anymore because they already know much more than that. So maybe that's why they're releasing it now, just because it doesn't really affect anything, and there's a good chance that pretty much all countries already know about it. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm worried that this is going to be like the previous declassification, where like there's videos that have been on the internet since like 2005, and they're just like, yeah, these videos are real. So like, I'll be like a little bit upset if that's what this current declassification is going to be. But it seems like there's evidence that it might be a little bit more extensive than the previous declassifications. You, Scott, what do you think?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Oh, I just was like the previous declassifications by the government have essentially been just verifications of videos that have existed on the internet since like 2005. Like people were wondering if those videos were fake. The government verified that they're real intelligence that was captured by surveillance teams.
Well, going off of what you were saying is that there's a Marine video on Facebook about them fighting a UFO that was like flying right next to them in literal 4K. I swear it was 4K, and it's probably one of the best pieces of evidence I've ever seen in my entire life because it was so clear. I guarantee you 100% no way it was CGI. And but anyways, guys, we are 5 minutes away until it is June 1st in the East Coast. So if any of you are in the East Coast, make sure you have your cameras ready because things are about to go down on June 1st. It's going to be getting crazy, so buckle up.
Ready to see a UFO?
Yeah.
Carson, you've got orbs flashing in and out. There's orbs flying around you, some people say. You probably can't see them with your own eye, but people are saying that they see orbs around your light.
Bro, you're in the cemetery in the middle of the night. That's scary.
Some bugs flying around, so it could be that.
Wait, is the place you're staying right next to the cemetery?
The cemetery is like 30 yards that way. I'm like 30 yards away from the tombstones.
Sky event? What is the sky event? Diesel in New Jersey. By the way, guys, for those of you that are in the East Coast, make sure to have your cameras out because June 1st is about to be happening in a few minutes on the East Coast. Alright, you're... Alright, alright.
So, what are your guys' predictions? When is the report? When do you guys think the report will come out? What day?
Honestly, I mean, I think it's gonna come out tomorrow. I'm hoping, well, tomorrow, aka in 3 minutes. But hey, at least we'll know. Why should we have our cameras out? Because it's gonna be June 1st, and there's gonna be a lot about It's
You
gonna be a
should
lot of.
always have.
Dude, always
You
have your
should
cameras
always
ready.
have your cameras out, right? You never know when the unknown is going to appear.
Yeah, dude, they're always gonna be out there. They're always gonna be out there. There's always something to film. June 6th is what Philip White said.
June 6th.
Why would it be June 6th?
I personally think it's going to be June 30th.
Well, hey guys, we're only like 2 minutes away from this. We're 2 minutes away. I got my camera ready. Heck yeah, dude.
My camera right here.
When you do film some stuff, make sure to jump into our Discord. Yeah, because that's where you're gonna find some of our good stuff. So,
Okay.
are there any other topics that we should cover that you guys might know of?
Yeah, this is your chance for you, people listening, to ask any question you want, and we have 3 experts here, and we'll give you our best answer for free.
Tanner Cano says, do you think it will possibly be a UFO reveal?
Well, yeah, that's what it is going. Well, they already have revealed UFOs. But yeah, Philip White says David Wilcock is saying June 6th.
Dude, David Wilcock has lied about every little thing that he's said. I will literally roast the heck out of him in person because he, dude, literally like about earlier this year, Philip White said that we're apparently gonna go into like a nuclear war or something, and I waited for that day, and it didn't happen. Like, I'm still here, aren't I? I'm still talking to you guys, aren't I? Like, I don't believe in David anymore. Honestly, like he's such a joke book. But
Do you think the government intentionally places people on social media platforms to delegitimize potential pre-existing correct theories?
And it is 9 o'clock. Sorry, what? Or 12 o'clock. It is June 1st in DC. Sorry, what was that? What was the question?
Do you think the government intentionally puts people on public platforms like Facebook or Twitter to spread crazy ideas that shreds legitimacy from people who are actually trying to investigate the truth?
I think there's a good chance, yeah. That the Pentagon would be trying to spread misinformation.
Carson, we have a question directed towards you. Philip White says, Carson, can you feel the energy shift from the orbs around you?
No, I'm pretty sure the orbs around me are bugs, because there are a bunch of bugs out right now.
Or maybe it's a mix of both.
Maybe it's a mix of both, right?
Alright, so anyhow, let's see.
It is now June 1st in
In the
Washington,
East Coast.
D.C. there has been no report released. So, Scott, your prediction was wrong.
Unless maybe all that they've been releasing the past couple months have, like, for the past 180 days, maybe that was how much time they had to get released, that what they wanted to release. And maybe that's it, end of story.
There's a report by the UFO task force that is supposed to be released.
And did they not release it?
Not yet. So, but yeah, definitely all the UFO stuff was to build up for that. Carson, do you know of this 1948 ocean carcass find? No, I have not, but I can definitely.
We can look that up and investigate it.
Yeah, I'll put that on my list of things to research.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of good questions today, guys, and it's very awesome that you guys are very active in the chat. I wasn't really expecting anyone.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to go soon, guys, but it was a great time. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention was I want to take some time to acknowledge all of our troops in the military for Memorial Day, all of our veterans, all of our fallen soldiers from the war. It's important to remember them on Memorial Day.
I agree. Yeah.
Same here. Alright, guys, we are going to be calling that the rest of this podcast. We want to say thank you so much to Carson from Scientific Researchers of the Unknown for jumping in. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel. He is almost to 100 subscribers. If we can help both of us, because it will be basically us helping out each other, and on top of that, some of you guys in the chat, I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat, being very active, and Brett, I will be doing another video, another link update for that. You could also find us on disboard.com and then type in Paranormal Awakening. That's the name of my Discord. But I can also fix that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for swinging through the stream. And yeah, I appreciate all of your support. So, Carson, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week. And here is Carson's contact in the chat right there if you'd like to contact him. That way, if you have any questions, and that's his email as well. Thank you so much, guys.